I could spend the first portion of this video hyping up season 2 of The Sopranos, but guess what? I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't lie here on Fog Entertainment. We were not a fan of this season, but nonetheless, we have to rank every Soprano season 2 episode. And in 13th place, we have Do Not Resuscitate. And you know what? That's exactly how I felt watching this episode. A good things with this episode is you get introduced to Bobby Bancelleri, who is Junior's like right hand man at this stage, and you get Junior getting out of jail. But that's all it's good, right? Because literally the rest of the episode is Livia. People go and visit Livia. Oh, get out of here with your swearing, you're just like your vomit. No, get in the bin, Livia. And then the whole DNR storyline. Is that what he said? Get in the bin. No wonder it's last place. Coming in at 12th place, we have got episode 4 of season 2, and we've got Commentatori. Because you know why? It wasn't even that bad of an episode, right? It was solely in Italy. The storyline just felt forced, out of nowhere. You had so much hype built for the last episode of Richie Aprile getting introduced in the beef with Tony, and then what do? They whip out a fire extinguisher and just pour it all over the show. The show does not know how to build hype, and when it does build any sort of hype, it fucking kills it. Gives you no payoff whatsoever, and that's exactly what this episode was. Coming in 11th place, it was episode 11. We have got House Arrest. And this episode was garbage. You had Tony Soprano going legit for an episode, and then like it just ends with him going, nah, like going legit ain't for me, because he was supposed to go around all his legit businesses and like show his face, so to speak, at the garbage place. Then he goes down to the crew, and like this is where we like and see that Chris is like out of hospital. And it's like there's just been no hype, no build up to that whatsoever. Christopher's just suddenly out. And then, like, it ends with like a car crash in the middle of the street. What the what? Nothing happened. Absolute garbage. Junior gets, like, a breathing mask on to help his snoring. And that's it. Your third last episode of the season. What are we building up to here? There's nothing getting built. It's only getting demolished. Like, honestly, Tony Soprano, man, sort yourself out. And in 10th place, we've got episode 10, Bust Out. Again, another episode that just, it focuses, like, I actually like the character David Scatino, played by Robert Patrick. He's only in 3 episodes, but this episode is just, it's literally just running this guy down to, like, is no more. Like, Tony's, like, depressed. Tony's depressed phase is, like, is it the most it's been at this season? I'd say so, because he's growing a bit of stubble. He's walking about the house in his house coat, like he normally does, but even more so. And then, like, he's actually spending time at Davy's place of work, sleeping, because he thinks he could be under arrest due to the Matt Billwinkler hit. So, yeah, that was just not very good for Tony Soprano. Coming in 9th place, we have got episode 5. We return from Italy. With a rather irate Furio, he's essentially been promoted into a higher role than Big Sal, which obviously aroused suspicion. So we had leadership shake-ups here, promotions all around, with like Dr. Melfi crying to her psychiatrist because one of my people died when Tony told me to move. Yeah, who cares, man? I mean, who honestly fucking sits here and wants to actually pretend that they care about her? Like, if she wants to play the character of Tony Soprano psychiatrist, why can't I just state that? Why the fuck do we need to see her see a psychiatrist? Like, honestly, Tony makes sense. Her, not one bit. And the episode ends with Furio going into the talent salon and causing a bit of havoc. Up next, we have From Where to Eternity. It is the aftermath of Christopher Moltisanti's shooting. He does, like, clinically die. He goes to hell, which, I mean, you get some funny scenes in this episode, like with Polly, like, what's this black magic shit? And he's like throwing chairs at ghosts that are in the room. I mean, it was funny. You have Tony and Big Sal killing Matt. Again, like, there's just no build up to it. It's just like, right, he hangs her out down here, and then the next scene is them fucking, like, dragging him into this, like, amusement park setup, and then they just shoot him. You like Diet Cola, kid? No, I don't like Diet Cola. I'd like some good fucking episodes of this show, please. And it's no surprise that, like, the lowest episode we gave this season was a 4.5, and the highest was an 8. And most of the episodes were 6s or 5s. There's no real surprise with that. 7th place, we've got the premiere of season 2. And yeah, a guy walks into the psychiatrist's office. Even the fucking wording in that episode, man, that is taking too long. We do see Tony going to see Junior in this episode, As the aftermath, of course, we get introduced to his sister Janice, who causes a wee bit of chaos, so to speak. We're introduced to his other sister, Barbara. He does go to see Dr. Melfi at the end of the episode, and she basically tells him, "No, I'm not coming back, Tony. Tony, I'm not coming back." But overall, a really weak season premiere, not an awful lot going for it. Up next, though, we've got a white knight in satin armour. And we've got the death of Richie Aprile. Comes in sixth place. He got done dirty. Actually, a good episode that was built up. Like, it looked like the boiling point between Richie and Tony was finally here. We're going to get some form of confrontation. And then Janice kills him because he gave her a bitch slap, even though it was like, it was a knuckle sandwich. It was a 5-knuckle shuffle to the dome, to be fair to Janice. But come on. There was no build up to her previously wanting to, "Oh, but it's to show off the Soprano rage." Fuck off. Right, I'm not buying that. Into the top 5 we go. Episode 7 here, we have got D-Girl. It was an insight into the movie business, right? And when they do stuff like this, I think this is... Would I say this with The Soprano thrives? It probably does. Because no other TV show does it, because guess what? They've actually got their own interesting storylines to focus on rather than here. They want a wee insight into the movie business. So deal. I mean, they can integrate it pretty well, in my opinion. I feel like they can. We've seen it with the music industry, and we'll see it again with other things like, horse racing, pie oh my. We'll see that very soon. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. But again, it is filler. Like, what did it actually do in terms of the storyline? It did nothing. It did nothing. Like, it made Christopher fall for his cousin's girlfriend, and then he he felt betrayed by the director, John Ferrer. What's that doing long term, though? This never gets fucking mentioned again. So, yeah, kind of funny. Up next in 4th place, we've got Full Leather Jacket, and Christopher goes for movie director potentially to getting shot by 2 of his delinquents, his 2 wee buddies with Matt and Sean. Good episode. I feel like it was. Even though the shootout sucked and came out of nowhere, like, those 2 getting screen time, Matt and Sean, they actually... They're alright. This episode, really funny scene in the Bada Bing toilet where he's like, "Hey Tony," and then Tony's like, "You don't fucking speak a business. How fucking dumb are you?" He storms out. Thought that was really good. You had Richie giving Tony the jacket. He's like, "The jacket." And then later on in the episode, Tony's gave the jacket away, and then Richie's face when Tony gives the jacket away. Holy good fuck. He also said that Christopher's nose was like a natural canopy, which got a cheap pop out of me. So Richie Aprile dragging this episode where it belongs. And also, it left on a cliffhanger. But, is Christopher going to die? So yeah, how did this happen? I mean, but he gets shot, and then the next scenes are in the hospital. Where's like the fucking ambulance arriving? Tony's arriving in his big SUV. "Oh no, Christopher's dead." None of that, guys. We don't do that here. Next up, we've got the Happy Wanderer. We are introduced to David Scatino's character here. Well, Robert Patrick's character, David Scatino. Got a high-stakes poker game. He loses it all. And we got Tony and Richie butting heads yet again. But Robert Patrick just showing his different levels of acting here, because you're so used to this guy, like a strong physical role. And here he's like the chicken shit guy, like... half nerdy guy at school that Tony hung about with, and now he's got all his money hoovered off him. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this as a poker game, like lasting the whole episode. It was a nice wee theme to it. Coming in 2nd place though, we've got Funhouse. A fun episode to a degree. The dreams were fun, undeniably, they were funny. But for that to reveal that Big Sal was the rat, I'm not a fan of. But of course, I feel like Big Sal, big character dying in more ways than one. We see Silvio, Paulie, and Tony annihilate him at the end. Tony getting arrested, I guess, is a big size deal, so to speak, in a finale. I mean, well, that's one thing to look forward to going into season 3, I guess. But it was a big death. Was it a sad death? Yeah. I mean, Tony questioning whether the girl was even real in Puerto Rico. That hit deep in Big Sal, and I think at that point he knew it was. I think he knew it was game over anyway, but definitely game over. But coming in first place, we have got episode 3 of season 2, man, and it is the debut of Richie Aprile. I will never forget him running over Beansy, and then there's 2 things I'll never forget: the fact no Scrubs was playing while he was doing it, and also the fact that Tony told him, "I told you to back off, Beansy." I did. Then I put it in forward. Oh, fucking absolutely done, Tony. And even Tony had to sit down and acknowledge how good that was a line for Richie April. But you know what? Easily the best episode of the season, because you know what? It introduced a character, and within an episode, he's like the second best character in the show. If that isn't good writing, I don't know what is. But sadly, the rest of the season couldn't live up to it.